What's up guys, TJ here, back in with another video. Thanks so much for stopping in. Today we're going to talk about this little guy here. So many of us have these little GoPros and we use them for our drum videos and all kinds of stuff like that, but there's not really much that we can do to kind of help the GoPro look. You know, you shoot with a GoPro, it looks like a GoPro, you know it's a GoPro. Well, hopefully diving into a couple of things that I want to talk about will help alleviate some of your footage from looking too much like the action cam GoPro. So let's get into it. Wow. Okay, so I've had this GoPro here for the better part of a few years now, and I feel so stupid. Just up until recently, I realized that there is a really easy way to customize the shot and really dial in what it is you're doing with it, and it's so much of a change from what I was normally used to that it almost feels like I have a whole new camera to shoot with. So let's just get into it. It's not really anything complicated. I mean, literally everybody and their brother has already done a video on this, but since it's new to me, and I'm hoping that it might be new to some of you out there that may not know about it, that this could help you in the future. So let's get into it. So the special feature menu is called Protune. I didn't even know this thing existed until just like maybe a week ago. I've had a Hero 4 for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now, and I just kind of stumbled upon this. And I would assume that every model that comes after this would have it as well. So what the Protune lets you adjust are the big four that I would talk about, and that would be the resolution that you're shooting at, you know, 4K, 1080, all that, the frame rate, the shutter speed, and your color profile. Now, not everybody might really care or want to get into those fine detail minutia of their shots because of, for whatever reason, but for me, and just like understanding my drum gear, my audio gear, all that stuff, I want to understand how I can get the most out of the stuff that I'm working with. So, for example, this Canon M50 doesn't come with a flat color profile or a C-Log that I can right out of the box shoot with, but I was able to install a third-party version of that as a user preset. So that's, you know, allowing me to kind of take advantage of the characteristics that could ultimately make this camera perform far better than it normally would or could. So the GoPro is no exception. Within the Protune menu settings, you can set the camera to a flat color profile. You can fine-tune the shutter speed and the frame rate, the ISO, the white balance, any fine detail camera setting, just like any other DSLR. You can manipulate that in a GoPro, which completely blew my mind because I didn't even think that that was an option or a possibility. So, without getting into the further details or anything like that, let's get into the Protune menu and kind of show you how you can set that up and dial this thing in. Okay, so pardon my fingers here, but on the GoPro itself, you can kind of see some of these settings down here where the shot is set at 4K. Come back. Your frame rate is at 24 and your field of view is set to wide. So again, pardon my fingers, if you swipe to the left, here is the Protune menu. Basically, like I said, I've got it set to a flat color profile, and the shutter speed is what you can control over here as well. And again, that's set to double the frame rate, which is at 24. So let's back out of this. Adjusting the field of view, if you go to super view, it's much wider. You see how it's kind of distorted in that fisheye? If you set that to wide, it's a much more natural looking shot. Come back. So let's jump into the drum room and see what this looks like as an overhead cam, because that's primarily what I use the GoPro for anyway. And see, you know, with and without the Protune settings, and see what's gonna look best. So let's check it out. So that's really it. I mean, you can kind of see the difference, especially with that the wide versus the super wide field of view and how it kind of distorts the image a little bit. But setting a flat color profile and really giving you the option to customize it and take full advantage of that dynamic range. And even with the capability of shooting in 4K, it's a super crisp and sharp image. And for an overhead cam, like I'm in my unfinished basement, I don't have like a hardware mount or even an extra DSLR to mount a camera to my ceiling to get a super awesome kind of cinematic and professional looking shot from overhead. So being able to dial in the GoPro to make it kind of match what I'm shooting here on my DSLR is super helpful. So that's why I said it's like almost like I gained a whole new camera. So that's really, really, really awesome and inspiring and super cool. And I'm, very excited to continue to use that in the future to help make better videos. Because honestly, at the end of the day, that's all this is about, is sharing information with other people to help you or inspire you to make better stuff. Because for me, that's really what this whole thing is all about. It's just creating, getting better at creating, and hopefully at some point along the way, helping someone else create something better as well. So that's going to wrap it up. I mean, again, this topic of conversation is covered widely across the entire YouTube platform. All you have to do is search for GoPro and Protune, and you'll see a myriad of videos show up about how to set that up and all kinds of stuff. So if you're a drummer, if you're shooting cover videos, or you want to get into shooting for Instagram, or you don't have a camera and you want to buy a GoPro because they're cheap, this is great because there are several options to help you make something that's going to really stand out on any social media platform if you approach it the right way. So I hope this information was helpful. If you have not subscribed, please do so. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you think other people might want to see this, go ahead and drop a like. I also appreciate that as well. And we will see you on the next one. Cheers.